Okay, welcome everybody. We've got a situation here with this 2007 GMC Sierra Classic work truck. And I'm going to show you, first of all, it's freezing cold out here. So I've already started this engine and started the warm-up process because we're going to change this oil pressure sensor sending unit. What I'm experiencing here is I'm going to go power on with the key, not starting the engine, and you're going to watch that oil pressure gauge go to 80, which is counterintuitive because the engine isn't even running at all. So that tells me that the unit's bad. Power on, whammo, 80 psi, engine is not running. It's been like this for a while, and I kind of did the troubleshooting to tell myself and my brain that everything's fine, that there is in fact oil pressure and that the pump is functioning and all those sorts of things. I've not always been the most rigorous with the oil changes, but within at least that 5,000 mile period, which I think is, they say if you're using a good synthetic it's like up to 7,500, maybe even more. But if you're using regular old oil, it's a 3,000 oil change interval. So anyhow, this is my story. So fire the engine up and it sits there at about 80 psi until I get like running down the freeway. And the most recently, what's going on here? Most recently, maybe month or two, it's been dropping down to 0 and the idiot light will come on, low oil pressure, which I call nonsense because I know that at this point, through my troubleshooting techniques, that I've got that figured out, that the thing's retarded. So, and you don't see much of anything happening there on that gauge. It's just pegged at 80. So I'm kind of letting this engine warm up, and we're going to go through these motions of changing that sensor and then changing the oil. So stay tuned. Alright, so here's a good shot of what this oil pressure gauge does when you start to put a little RPMs to it. I'm pretty sure that is the sending unit or sensor's bad, but there also could be some sort of sludge that's doing something in there also. We'll see. I got this bad boy up on those chinguses because I want to create elevation to allow all the oil down into the sump, and whatever might be sludgy in there, give it a chance to find its way out that drain plug. So typical GM valve, and or I believe that's fuel injectors doing their thing, making that nice sound. That's a sweet sound of GM fuel injection. So I'm not too alarmed by any of that. I've got a non-specific assortment of hand tools that may or may not be necessary. Couple new parts that I'm going to need probably, that I got at that Chinese shipping container store. This one being the 27mm socket, and then I got the you know, a Napa Auto Parts sending unit chingus. So plus the screen. So we're going to get in there and get that stuff taken out. Is that an 8mm? Holy crap, it's an 8mm. Okay, that's kind of hard to see down there. I'm going to get a light. Wow, this is going to be a trick, getting my hand back there. Looks like I got a cracked boot on this PCV valve. That's interesting. Okay, well, I'm not really having the greatest luck here. That light should help. Shine that light down there. So I found if you can climb down in here and get your shoelace, bootlace perfectly around the crank, oil power steering pump pulley, that you'll be able to gain proper access to the back of the, the back of the block, so you can get that sensor out. And that's going to be perfect. So get your bootlace right around that power steering pulley. And I'm going to use this phone here as sort of a, I would just say, eyes to get in there to see what the hell that connector is that's stopping me up. What is that connector? What is that connector right there? That's in my way. That's in my way. What is that? And why is it in my way? And is that in my way? Is that guy in my way right there? Is that in my way? It's probably in my way. Let's see. So once you got your, like I said, get your bootlace properly positioned. Oh yeah, we're on now. We're on now, for sure. Pretty much 10% positive we're on. Let's get that light to shine. Okay, now I'm gonna try. This is gonna look all funny probably. I'm going to try to get, let's see if I can get an angle back in here on that. These are bedroom tactics, I think. Duffel bag. I'm quite sure that that popped it loose. But we won't know. You know, it didn't. Bolt is in the way. It's like a 10 mil. I'm going to have to loosen that guy up. So, should be good. Should be good. Should be good to let that roll right there while I do this. And then we're going to go in blind here. A little bit blind. feel around with your dude. Is that a 12 mil? Son of a, it's a 12 mil. Why would they put 12 millimeter? Note to self, keep your tools close at hand so you don't have to climb in and out, unsecuring your bootlace and resecuring your bootlace every time. It helps to practice the pretzel, which is, it's sort of a secret move. You know, not a lot of people know about the pretzel, but if you can practice the pretzel prior to replacing this Chingus, I'm just gonna struggle a bit here. Is it a freaking 12 millimeter or what? Of course I grab an 11. What in the... Jeez. Of course it's an 11 I grab. Why the hell would I grab the 12 millimeter? Good night. And why would I even have an 11 millimeter? Who uses that size? Good grief. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I got the 12 millimeter on because someone replaced my 12 with an 11. And the joke was on me for sure. Jimmy your hand back in there. Let's move that guy up so we can get a proper shot of this. Oh gosh. There's hoses in the way too. Really? Now, this was supposed to be a quick and easy job, according to the internet. That's in the way. The internet's wrong most of the time. Now I'll probably end up dropping this 12. It's right there, and it's probably going to be a 13 that I need. Oh my effing gosh. Are you kidding me? A 13. I think I have one here. It's going to freak out. It'll probably be a 14 actually, and that'll be a sad day for me. I don't have a 14 with me here. What in the... Are you seeing that? That's finger tight. I don't even know what that's... I don't even know what that does and why it would be finger tight. But that's not ideal. Oh, I dropped it. Don't lose it, Chuck. Don't lose the giant socket down the back of the... Okay, I think it's on. I'm thinking it's on, man. So you got to do like a couple moves. I'm going to go shorty extension first. Pop that bad boy on. And then I'm going to go 6-inch extension. Pop that bad boy on, and then that's really all I can put on there.
Okay. Okay. It's feeling a little stiff. I don't know why. And I don't care for that feeling. So, off with the shorty. Because I don't, and I'm pretty sure it's probably because of that. It's because I'm using an impact socket and it's taking up too much space, and it's also actually rubbing on that 13 mil bolt that okay. Okay. I'm gonna go in and try and do this without that great big socket on there. Just as I thought, I'm rubbing. The outside diameter of that big socket's a problem. Don't drop the chingus, you idiot! Yeah, it's broken inside. Are you there? Are you still there, internet? It's broken. We got that thing broken. So now I'm going to have to make a retrieval tool to pull the screen out. If it's even in there.
We've got the retrieval tool secured here, and it's a very elaborately bent hook that I'm gonna poke down in there and retrieve that screen. So once that happens,
the sort of my securement tool, now the goal would not to be to knock a bunch of crud down in there, you know. Can anybody tell me where that hole is? I missed it. Such an idiot. Okay, I'm inserting the screen securement device, the screen retrieval device, and I'm not, you know, I'm not exactly having a great deal of confidence at this moment in this screen retrieval, because like I said, it may not even be down here. Lots of stuff and lots of other sorts of guys all over the internet said that it may not even be in there. Now I've inserted it and I've reached the bottom, and to my best ability I don't think that I retrieved anything. It definitely wasn't on the end of the deal. And to be honest, quite likely that I just knocked a bunch of shit down in there. More than done any good, anyway. Let's see if I can... see if I can come in from the other side here. Pretty sure I just knocked a bunch of shit down in there. That's an interesting situation. Come on. I would like to say that I watched lots and lots, probably 4 or 5 hours of this sort of job done on YouTube. And yeah, there's no screen in there, folks. Anyhow, nobody could get a camera back here. For some reason, I can get my camera back here. And I don't think it's because, well, let's face it, it's because I'm smarter than everybody. And nobody has the nobody has my level of intelligence that's done this job, so you can thank me for pioneering this project for you all. Now let's just get this thing back up here. This is the replacement part, and since there's no screen in there, I will not be putting a screen back in there. Now we will compare these parts, and they are pretty much looking like identical matches, so that's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and climb back in, and I'll let you see what I'm doing with this view this time, because I've been in here a few times. I'm gonna do it without falling though, hopefully, because I almost fell once. Slide your stupid Cody James boots down in here. Get to the point where you're standing on that front sway bar.
Are you standing in there?
Where are you guys going?
We're going to Lee's
Adjustment?
yeah, and my orthodontist.
And is it already that late in the day?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh man.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, love you too. Okay, the hole's right there, so it said on the internet that I would need to pull, I think this has been replaced already, but it said on the internet that I would need to pull a little like yellow chingus out of there, a little rubber weather guard grommet, and then put it inside the other one, but that's not really, unless that is intact on this harness here. It is. Everything came out on the harness, and you can see that in this shot right here. That little rubber deal came out with the plug, so I don't need to do any of that. So now as long as I can get this down in here without filling that hole full of more crud, we should be in business. Okay, so that's on. I'm going to get my big socket that doesn't really fit this application because it's an impact socket. It's thicker by nature. If I can get that seated, I might have to take this socket to the grinder or something, because this guy in the back is not going to let me. Oh, don't drop that phone again. Don't drop that phone again. Please don't fall, because I don't want to climb out of here. I fastened my it's gonna fall. I positioned my boot laces in a proper manner. Over the power steering pulley. So I'm thinking, I don't know what the heck this thing is, this bolt, but it's going to come out for a temporary moment. Hopefully, like, this is one of those bolts for the cover, the inner cover, that I read about that become loose in certain situations. So it's important to make note of that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go ahead and pop that chingus on. I'm going obviously in the wrong direction, of course. Story of my life. The moment that I got to take the top end apart on this truck, I'm just going to do a head job, cam job, all that stuff that's going to make some serious horsepower and decrease the reliability. Because that's what you do, right? When your engine's getting to that point. So what you want to do here is, on that sensor there is a couple crush washers, like on a spark plug, basically, that you want to seal. This is supposed to be at 20 some odd pounds, and I don't have a torque wrench because I don't feel like I need one. Famous last words. So I'm just gonna make sure that I got that tight. And I got it tight. Okay, it's on. We have replaced the faulty chingus with a new one. And then this is going back in that hole, which is a 13 mil. And I'll come behind and give it the old snuggeroo with that 13 mil wherever it lives. Then I'll button up those connectors. Here's my 13. come down here like this because that's going to work a little better. And come down here with this whole doohickey. See if I can't plug it on that socket and you won't be seeing much of this, I don't think, because it's sort of behind this other angle. But I think that was it. Yes, that was it. So now I'm going to double extension with the shorties right here because that'll make it easy. And then, you idiot! Popped it off because I'm an idiot. I gotta go through that whole thing again. Find the find the 13 mil. Get the 13 mil on there. Snug it. It's snug. It's much more snug than it ever has been. So we're good there. I'm gonna take this guy. Wham! That was easy. Then I'm going to find this guy and I'll get it plugged back in right where it goes, right there. Right there. Nailed it. Take that. Take that. I watched all y'all do this job and sort of not give a proper video of it. And I just did. And I did while breaking that clip off. So now at this point, we should be able to... Probably going to do a quick oil change. I got my funnel cleaned. I got this oil here, conventional, cheap oil, and I've got seafoam. I'm going to put seafoam in the crankcase for a short-term interval oil change. No sense in wasting a good quality oil that costs a bunch of money when I'm going to dump it in a couple hundred miles. So basically the seafoam, it goes in. What the hell's wrong with that cat? Anyhow, the seafoam goes in at 1 ounce per quart. 6 quarts of oil in this truck, so I'm going to add 6 ounces of this seafoam. This is my measuring receptacle here. This little jar, minced ginger jar. I'm going to try to do this all one-handed here and probably have a spectacular fail. Yeah. Okay, so it's a 6.7 ounce jar, and I'm going to add it to the neck right there. It's an approximate 6 ounces, and that should be good. So I'm doing that to help resolve the carbon issue I think may be present. So, what was that? Anybody know what that was? Put that stuff there. I'm going to start with the, you know what, let's start with the big jug. Grab your little corny little container of seafoam. Give it a good sniff. It smells like... That is rubbing alcohol, dude. That seafoam smells like rubbing alcohol.
And of course I missed that. Okay. I'm just going to add it all. Why not, huh? An extra 6 ounces of fluid level in that crank shouldn't impact anything too much, right? One would think. What am I going to blow a rear main seal? Maybe. Okay. So get your cap. Put your cap back on. Put the cap back on. Okay. Moment of truth. Moment of truth here. So refer to the start of the video when I showed you that when I went key power, that gauge pegged to 80. Remember that? Well, that didn't happen now, so that's a good sign. Looking like I got that oil pressure again where it's supposed to be. So now let's jump over here. Everything sounds good. I did not fill up my It does not look to be leaking. I don't see any leaks. Though it may be too early to tell, I don't see any leaks. Okay, I still have oil pressure, which is quite nice to see that. There's some oil pressure. Now if I could just get the 4-wheel drive to work, would be nice. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of a trip up the local highway and then jump on the freeway north to the next exit, which is just 2 miles. And that should give me a good indication of whether I'm going to see that oil pressure kind of sink like it used to. I don't think I will. I think that the situation is resolved. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. $200 degrees. So I'm gonna put her in park, pop the hood, go up there and grab a video of that, see if I can see any sort of leaking coming out of that. Coming out of that sending unit. And it looks good to me. Looks good to me. I'll come in on this side. And that looks good to me. Take a look at that oil filter up under there, and it's looking good to me. So I will say that's the issue is solved. Temporary solution achievement. We will know after my... Let's do this real quick. I'm going to go through... I'm not resetting the oil life yet because I need to... Let's go to trip A. I'm going to reset trip A because I will hit the 300 mile mark and do the short term. It's going to probably be 300 to 500 mile mark. And then I'll do the short term. I'll do the short term oil change to flush that seafoam out, and then I'll put some good high quality synthetic in there to restore the quality of the oil. So let's jump back on that freeway and see what this does. Now that the engine's warmed and everything's running good, we should start to see a little bit of, like, I didn't have any power loss. This truck's got plenty of power for what it is, but we'll hammer it again and see what we got. Onto the freeway, I got 72 miles an hour, and you saw that pump pressure hit about 80 psi or real near. Now I'm cruising 1900 RPM, about 60 psi.